Hello and welcome to this refresher course. Today's refresher course is regarding unit conversions using simple algebra. We commonly can convert units from one system to a different system for mathematics, physics, chemistry, lots of different topics. So this refresher course should be useful for those who are getting into a new math class, physics class, etc. Let's jump right into it. Let's talk about changing units. Well, first of all, what is a unit? When we have a number and that number is assigned units, the unit just describes what the number is describing. So for example, if you have on the next page here, if you have 25 miles, the unit itself is miles. 25 is the quantity. And so if we underline miles here, that is our unit. If we underline 25, that is our quantity. So sometimes we want to convert the unit to a different unit. And in this case, we want to convert 25 miles per hour to kilometers per hour. Now, these are compounded units, meaning miles per hour. So those are actually two units. 1 mile in 1 hour is a mile per hour. 1 kilometer in 1 hour is a kilometer per hour. And we want to convert from one of these units to the other. So let's go ahead and show how to do that. There's several different methods of doing that out there. The method that I prefer and the method that I teach in my physics courses is to stack your units and use unit cancellation in order to convert from one unit to another. Now let's see how that works. We're going to start with 25 miles per hour. And so over here, I'm going to just write 25 and I'm going to write miles per hour. I have written that as mph rather than writing out miles per hour. And then I'm going to put a division line and I'm going to put the number 1 underneath it, meaning I have one set of 25 miles per hour. And now we want to convert that to kilometers per hour, and so we're just going to multiply that by some sort of a conversion factor. Now typically with conversion factors you have to look those up. Sometimes they're given to you, other times you actually have to figure out what it is by converting other units along the way. Let's jump to the next screen here. So we're going to start with 25 miles per hour, but we need a conversion factor between a mile per hour and a kilometer per hour. I will go ahead and give that to you. 1 mile per hour is 1.609 kilometers per hour. So let's go ahead and write that again. We have 25 miles per hour. I'm going to divide that by 1. And now we're going to multiply that by our conversion factor. I'm going to put a line in here. Now the goal is to cancel out the units. And when we have a unit on the top of the division line and a unit on the bottom of the division line that are the same, those will cancel each other out. I have miles per hour on the top, and so I want to put miles per hour in the next set of units on the bottom so that it cancels out. So I'm going to just start by writing 1 mile per hour on the bottom, and that way we can see that our units are going to cancel because we have miles per hour on the top on the first set and miles per hour on the bottom on the second set. When we multiply these together, that 1 over 1 just becomes the number 1 and they cancel out. But we need to finish this conversion factor. 1 mile per hour on the bottom is equal to 1.609 kilometers per hour on the top. So we're just going to go through. We're going to take a chance, take a second to cancel out our miles per hour, and then we're going to figure out what our final number is. Now units wise, miles per hour is canceled, that's gone, and we're left with kilometers per hour and the number 1. So that's easy enough, that's just kilometers per hour. But we still need the number. And as we multiply this first set by the second set, we have 25 on the top multiplied by 1.609 on the top. And then we have 1 on the bottom multiplied by 1 on the bottom on the second set. So 25 times 1.609, let's just go ahead and do that real quick. We have 25 times 1.609, hit equals, and we have 40.225. Let's go ahead and close that, 40.225. So across the top, we have 40.225. On the bottom, 1 multiplied by 1, that just gives us 1. And we're left with just a single number 1 on the bottom. So let's reduce this. 40.225 divided by the number 1 ends up being the same number. So we have 40.225 kilometers per hour. The 1 at the bottom cancels out because that divided by 1 is just the original number. So this is our final answer. We have converted 25 miles per hour to kilometers per hour, and the answer is 40.225 kilometers per hour. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. We're going to go to another conversion, and let's take a look at that one. Okay, next we want to convert miles per hour to feet per second. The number we're given is 25 miles per hour, and we want to convert that to feet per second. Okay, go ahead and pause the video at this point and try doing the conversion on your own after I give you the conversion factors. Go ahead and do the work, and then come back, hit unpause, and check to see if your answer matches the answer that we provide here. Okay, so here's our conversion factors. We need quite a few of them in order to get from miles per hour to feet per second. So if we start with miles per hour, we need feet and we need seconds, but we're also going to need minutes in order to get from hours to seconds. So 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So let's go ahead and get started here. If you're going to pause the video to try this on your own first, now is your time to do that. We'll see you when you unpause. So we're going to first start by writing 25. And this time for miles per hour, I'm actually going to show 25 miles divided by 1 hour. And that way I have the units separated and stacked, ready for us to cancel them out as we do the multiplication. So let's go ahead and do our next conversion. We can either convert hours to minutes, or we can convert miles to feet. Let's just go ahead and do miles to feet. So I'm going to write 1 mile on the bottom, and on the top I'm going to write how many feet are in 1 mile. We have 5,280 feet on the top. Okay, so miles is going to cancel out as a unit. It's gone. So now we have, in theory, feet per hour. Let's go ahead and do the next conversion. We have hours on the bottom, and we want to eventually get to seconds on the bottom to get feet per second. And so let's go ahead and convert hours to minutes. So I'm going to write 1 hour on the top, so that hour on the top on the third multiplication is canceling out hours on the bottom on the first one. And in 1 hour, how many minutes do we have? We have 60 minutes. I'm going to abbreviate minutes here. Let's go ahead and do the last one here. I'm going to put 1 minute on the top so that the units will cancel there. Wait, we've got to cross out our hours. Hours cancels because we have 1 on top, 1 on bottom. Now we have minutes, 1 on top and 1 on bottom. We have minutes, 1 on top and 1 on bottom. 1 minute on the top here is going to equate to 60 seconds. So now minutes can cancel out. And let's go ahead and see what our units are going to leave us with. So as we do the multiplication along the top, we have 25 times 5,280 multiplied by 1 and multiplied by 1. So let's do that. 25 times 5,280 times 1 times 1 again. That's going to be on the top. And then on the bottom, we have 1 times 60, and then times 60 again. Okay, so let's do that math and we will figure out what our final answer ends up being. By the way, these units are going to be feet per second if you look at the remaining units. So this would be feet per second. Okay, let's go ahead and do the math. Let's go ahead and do the math here. We've got 25 times 5,280. That's equal to 132,000. We'll put that on the top. Oops, 132,000. And then we're going to divide that by 1 times 60 times 60. That gives us 3,600. So 3,600 here. And again, that's feet per second. Let's do that division. 132,000 divided by 3,600 is equal to 36.667 repeating. And that is feet per second. Okay. Hopefully that matches up with the answer that you had for those that paused and did your work at home as well. But again, what did we do? We went through, we multiplied sets in order to convert the units, and we multiplied the numbers once we had the correct units that we wanted. Okay, so now we're going to go to one more challenge. We want to convert cubic feet to cubic meters. Now, a cubic foot is just a foot that is length, width, and height multiplied. So if we were to draw a cubic foot, it would be 1 foot across, 1 foot in depth, and 1 foot tall, right? So that is a cubic foot. And we want to convert that to cubic meters. And we're given 100 cubic feet. So the number is 100. The unit is cubic feet. Let's go to the next page here, and we need a conversion factor. So 1 foot is equal to 0.3 meters. I'm reducing significant figures here in order to keep this simple for us. So if we have cubic feet, and our conversion factor is based on 1 power of feet rather than 3 powers of feet, we have to do a little bit of extra work. So let's go ahead and start out. We have 100 cubic feet. I'm going to write that as feet to the power of 3, and I'm going to put that over 1. And now we're going to go with our conversion factor between feet and meters. So in 1 foot, we have 0.3 meters. Okay. Now this is only converting a single power of feet and not a cubic power. And so we need to do this 3 times. 0.3 meters equals 1 foot. We're going to do it one more time. 0.3 meters is equal to 1 foot. Okay, so what are the units that we get out of this whole thing? We have cubic feet on the top. We have 1 power of feet on the bottom, 2 powers, and 3 powers. So we have cubic feet on the bottom. So we're going to cross out 3 on the bottom and the foot cubed on the top. And what are we left with? We are left with meters multiplied by meters on the top. And so our unit is now cubic meters instead of cubic feet. However, we still need to do some math. We have 100 multiplied by 0.3, multiplied by 0.3, multiplied by 0.3 once again, and that is meters cubed. So let's go ahead and do the math. Let's do 100 times 0.3 times 0.3 again, multiplied by 0.3 again, and we get 2.7. So we have 2.7 meters cubed as our final answer. So what is 100 cubic feet? It is equal to 2.7 cubic meters. Now I hope this has helped you understand how to convert units, not only for single powers of units, but also for multiple powers of units, such as this case where we had cubic feet and cubic meters. I'd like to do a quick recap here of converting units one at a time. First of all, we multiplied unit sets to eliminate one unit at a time, tracking our units along the way, and crossing out units that are canceling when you have one above and one below. And then finally, we keep converting units until you have the correct final units that are needed. And you can check your units along the way if that makes it easier for you. I want to say thanks for watching. If you have any other questions about this topic, feel free to leave a comment. And if you want to learn a little bit more about other refreshers that I have on algebra and other topics to help you prep for classes, or just to try and remember something you learned a while ago, please go ahead and visit my other videos. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you'd like as well, and get alerts for when I have new refreshers that are being posted.